How the hell you doing, everybody? It's Andy here, the DreamWarrior with honorary DreamWarrior.
How you doing? I'm Blaine.
My cousin, best friend ever. We're doing something everybody should do once in their life. We're sitting in the woods. We're camping right now. Just watching a little bit of the 1999 classic. Probably one of the best horror movies I've ever seen. One of the scariest movies.
Absolutely.
Blair Witch Project.
In the woods.
In the woods with the fire in the background.
That's right. That's how we do it.
Yeah, been talking about doing this review for a long time. This was a big deal back about 11 years ago for us in the summer. Whole summer was taken over by that. Kept me awake watching the trailers.
Scared the 13-year-old shit out of me, I know that.
11-year-old shit out of me. I actually woke up crying just from watching the trailers on TV. You guys have all seen it. I guess we'll still give you a little backstory on the movie. Why don't you tell them a little bit about that?
The basics of the movie, it's about three hikers or filmmakers who go into the woods and they're looking for a witch. It's a legend that there's this witch that haunts the area of Burkittsville, Maryland, and they go looking for this witch and they don't come back. And what happens is the backstory is that their footage gets found, and that's what we were watching here.
Mm-hmm. It stars three. Basically, the three main characters in the movie are Heather Donahue, Michael Williams, and Josh Leonard. It's their real names. They're kind of playing themselves. They, like the directors of this movie, Daniel Myrick and Ed Sanchez, they pretty much just sent them into the woods with a basic knowledge of the story. They kind of made them really think this was a real story about the Blair Witch legend.
When we saw it, we thought it was real.
Yeah.
First time when we saw it in the theater, we thought the story was real.
Yeah,
and that's why I think we like it so much. I think the people who knew that it was fake or
going to the movie scene knowing it's fake, you're not gonna think it's a big deal. But this movie literally scared the shit. I was shaking at the end of the movie.
Yeah, that's right.
And they sent them into the woods. They thought this was real, so I'm sure they were scared shitless really on camera too. I guess the directors gave them the outline. They sent them into the woods. Kind of gave them less and less food every day and fucked with them at night when they were in the tent.
I heard a story, and I don't know that it's true or not, but I heard a story that they would put milk jugs out with notes of what they were supposed to do.
Yeah, something like that.
The fire's hot.
And there was one part in the movie when I think it was, I don't know if it was when they were hearing sounds or when they were pushing out, and when there was like a person pushing on their tent, but Heather ran out, she's saying, "What the fuck is that?" I guess there was a guy standing there in a pair of long johns, like in white long johns. Like that would freak you out if you saw that in real life.
I think for sure one of the scariest parts of the movie is when it was after they knew they were screwed and they were in the tent and they could hear a baby crying.
That's still, if I watch that by myself, I get like chills and tingles.
Do me in for sure. If I ever heard that, I'd be done.
And just the fact, like, even if we were just talking, if this even wasn't really a witch, it was just like they had this theory that maybe it was just crazy hillbillies in the woods effing with them. I think that's scarier than a witch. If there's just crazy people in the woods that are willing to come out.
What's scary about that is that kind of stuff can happen.
Yeah, there's really rednecks that'll come out in 3 in the morning and screw with you in the middle of the woods. That's
people from the south are kind of crazy.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Idiots. But yeah, it's like, when was the last time a movie made that much impact? Like Blaine was saying earlier, he has a Time magazine with the 3 main characters from the Blair Witch on the cover. When's the last time any movie made that kind of impact, especially a horror movie?
I think that the movie that's probably done the closest to that would be Paranormal Activity.
Yeah.
But whoever the marketing director was for the Blair Witch Project,
genius. Absolute
genius, and they deserved every dime that they got because
what this movie profited almost like $200 million. They made it for $30,000. It made.
And again, the people who don't like it, I think either A, they knew it wasn't real when they saw it, or B, they were pissed off that they believed it and then it wasn't real, like they were being lied to. And to a certain extent they were, but
I don't know why you'd be upset that you found that a movie was fake though, because every movie's fake and you still like movies. And this is just an example of how you can make something very good without having like very good.
Yeah, exactly.
Having a very good movie, it's still really good at what it does.
No, exactly. And then they followed it up with Blair Witch 2 or whatever that was called,
Book of Shadows.
That, I think the idea behind the story of the second movie was okay. I think it could have been decent. I didn't care for it much.
Right.
But it was.
I can't even remember what that movie is about. I know you liked it. I only saw it once. I know I didn't like it that much. Because how are you going to beat like a movie like this?
It's
You can't beat
exactly.
it.
It's exactly like Paranormal Activity. I have no faith whatsoever that Paranormal Activity 2 is going to do well because you have, one of the scariest horror movies that has come out in decades. You're not going to top it. Bottom line,
Right.
you're not going to top it. You're not going to make it better than the original. And
And that's like one of a long line of movies since the Blair Witch that has come out like this. You have the St. Francisville Experiment, and you like that.
the last broadcast.
Broadcast.
There was one I never saw, but I've always wanted to see. It was called Strawberry Estates.
Yeah, I've never seen that. Quarantine was kind of like this. Wreck, the movie that Quarantine was based off of. A lot of stuff like that. Cloverfield, I think, was like that. Nothing as good as this, so nothing as effective. There was the documentary on Sci-Fi Channel or something.
Curse of the Blair Witch.
Which is a great,
Amazing.
great marketing thing. It's just like they made websites. They made websites to make it look like the Legend of the Blair Witch is true. They made
The missing posters
Yeah.
with their faces was like an incredible marketing technique, and they literally fooled millions and millions of people with what they did.
And I don't know, like, if the news channels knew this was fake, but this was on the news.
Yeah.
Like, this was on.
I remember we watched something. There was something on like Entertainment Tonight or
Yeah.
something. That was like when we first heard about it
Yeah.
or something, and we were scared shitless that night.
Like, summer of 1999, this is what
Yeah.
we waited for this movie, and it came out, and for a year after that, we were still
Yeah.
freaking out over it. And we made our own movie, the Loretto Witch Project. You've seen that. Probably the most impacting movies ever had on me.
For sure, the movie that's probably
Our generation's Exorcist.
exactly. It's probably the only movie that has scared me since I've been like 7 or 8 years old. It's
Right.
probably it's definitely made an impact where you didn't want to turn out the light at night. And one thing that we've always talked about is the scariest thing you can do is screw with somebody's imagination because
Right.
there's nothing scarier than your imagination.
That's like the open ending. You decide in your head what happened to him. Like Blaine had a pretty good theory that
I think if anything, the end of the movie is it's a genius idea because it leaves the door open, and that's what people are really that's what people like to see.
and we're just assuming you know what the ending of the movie is because everybody's seen this.
I would have to guess, and this is a spoiler warning. I'm sure everybody who's watching this has probably seen it, but I would have to guess that if anything, just the fact that they could hear Josh screaming in the house at the end of the movie, Josh was there. I know Josh went missing, but Josh was in the house. I have a feeling, if anything, Josh had something to do with it. Not that he was necessarily in on killing them, but that he
Was possessed.
he was exactly, he was possessed or something like that. Because I don't know.
Well, like at the end, wasn't it something like that house just came out of like nowhere, like they were put back
Yeah,
in time,
right.
to the 40s or something.
Like they stumbled upon the house and
I don't know, but what else can you say? I could talk about this movie. If you just sit here, you can keep thinking of stuff.
exactly.
Like,
Exactly. It was. We talked about the Curse of the Blair Witch, the documentary that went along with the documentary, and it was amazing. So.
Yeah, I mean, like the Rustin Parr guy in there. I don't know how they did it, but it looked like it was shot literally in the 40s when the trial was supposed to be going on or
Right.
whatever. Like they used cameras that must have been from the 40s, and this guy looked like
He was creepy. He
Yeah.
was friggin' scary.
very scary and
The whole idea of some guy slaughtering kids
right.
in his house and making them turn into the
Oh.
corners, and the whole plot of the movie and all the background information is just scary. Bottom line.
Yep.
I don't care what anybody says. It's a scary movie.
Scariest movie I've ever seen, in fact.
Yeah.
Nothing like it in the last 11 years. Probably won't see anything like this, especially with all the garbage coming out right now.
Stop making remakes. Bottom line, stop making remakes.
That's probably the next thing we'll get
Jesus
a remake
Christ.
of this, and it will be bad.
Yeah.
I guarantee it will. But we're almost out of time. Could probably talk more about this.
All night.
I mean, I'm just talking
We
because I
gotta
don't even.
restock the fire.
Yeah.
I'm getting cold.
Could talk more, but there's too much to say, and I can't even think of what to say.
Yeah.
But we're gonna keep return to the movie. We're watching this. We're in the middle of it. We're gonna camp out here. Probably won't get any
crazy.
sleep. We're nuts.
It's crazy. It's dark out. We're in the middle of the woods, and
And I'm scared.
I'm frightened.
But I'm a fucking dream warrior.
Fuck yeah, I'm an honorary dream warrior tonight, bitches.
Always. 1-800-DREAM-WARRIOR. We're out. See ya.